Pritchard with True Financial Engineering. Just wanted to take a moment to talk about kingdoms, right? So in many of our conversations, most of us have no idea the power of kingdoms. We've never actually studied kingdoms. I know for a fact throughout school for me, going through grades 1 through 12, even through college, we never learned anything about kingdoms. Okay, if we did, it was just brief information. So we never knew how to define a kingdom. We never knew the characteristics of a kingdom, anything like that. So when we are dealing with anything, as it comes to relating to the world around us, relating to God, or God concept for some people that may be in some sort of a pagan belief, then it's a case where we have to understand the importance of kingdom. Why is kingdom so important? Kingdoms are important because that's the way that you and I actually have our needs met. You actually have your needs met by the kingdom that you're associated with, right? So when you are not getting your needs met, when things are not working right for you in the kingdom that you're in, then what you want to do is that you want to look to transfer, right? You want to look to transfer your citizenship into another kingdom because you want the benefits of that kingdom, right? So if we're talking about, per se, I guess our country is dealing with everything and dealing with building the wall, and should they not build the wall? The reality is that you have a number of people who are in a culture, a government, a system, of course, ruled under a kingdom, and it functions in a government that are not getting their needs met. And it's obvious. There's no way that you would have a trouble having people trying to migrate into a kingdom across a border if the things were right? If the grass wasn't greener on the other side, then people would go. And the reason why you can look at that, the way you can look at it is that you don't have that country fighting as hard to have the wall built. Why? Because we don't have people that are in this country, okay, under this government, that are trying to get into their country. They're not trying to fight to get into that country. They're not doing those things. Why? Because the people here are happy about the opportunities that they're receiving in this country. So when we're looking at governments, the importance is, again, first of all, is getting your needs met. Having an opportunity to be able to have your needs met, and that's not just financially, that's physically, right? Educational, that's all of those types of things. These are the responsibilities of the government. So when we're dealing with, again, this topic, then we also want to look at, again, a God or a God concept. Why? Because if you don't understand anything as it relates to kingdom, then the only thing that you can revert back to by default is a religion, right? Or a religious concept, which is what? An emphasis not on God. The emphasis of religion is you. The emphasis is on what you can do to be able to earn righteousness, or what, a right standing before God, what you can do to be just or justified, which is make yourself okay or presented to be okay in the eyes of God, right? So it's all about you. It's all about what you believe that you can come up with, fabricate about God. It's not about a finished work that God has done. It's not about you accepting what God has done as fact. It's about you wanting to fabricate, make, manufacture your own idea of God and what it means to be right in his eyes and be justified in his eyes. So that's what it puts us in the place of. So when we're dealing with this concept of kingdom, then we have to understand the power of it. So here's what we understand. Me, myself, I understand that if I'm dealing with a person, it's vitally important for me to understand, first of all, the culture that they're coming from. So if I understand the culture they're coming from, then I can understand what philosophies drive them. I can understand what ideas drive them as it concerns what? Money, relationship, right? God or God concepts, family. I can understand all of that. And here's one of the main ways that you can understand the way that this works. If you can determine the kingdom that a person originated from, then you can have a very good idea about the way that they manage and maneuver their lives. It's almost guaranteed. Case in point, we have here in the United States, most of us don't understand the rulership that we're under. So we celebrate the Declaration of Independence. We celebrate independence on July 4th. That is the United States making a declaration that they are independent and sovereign, and that they are no longer connected to Europe. That's what the declaration says. But the reality is, because of the weight that the war put on the United States, and all the cost that it actually took for them to actually so-called fight for their independence, then what they did in essence was put themselves under more bondage, right? They put themselves under more rule, because they went into so much debt to European countries that now they're ruled by still European countries. So now what we understand, or need to understand, is that what we understand about, or can learn, about Europe is that we need to understand that Europe is just another name for the Roman Empire. So when we study kingdoms, then what we know is the Roman Empire. You can study the Roman Empire, you can see its influence, and what we believe is that the Roman Empire was destroyed. So here's the question: if the Roman Empire was destroyed and no longer exists, then what kingdom, what power was it that overtook it? What power was it that actually destroyed the Roman Empire, right? And the reality is that none of the kingdoms, not Rome, not the Roman Empire, not the Medo-Persian Empire, not that kingdom, not the Greece or Grecian Empire, not the Babylonian Empire, right? None of these kingdoms were actually destroyed. Okay, so when we're looking at studying about these things, understanding how it works, we believe that these kingdoms were destroyed. These kingdoms were not destroyed. Okay, they still exist and are intact. It's just that you have a stronger kingdom who is actually taken over and taken the primary position on the earth. That's what it is. So when I'm saying that, here's the reason why I'm saying it. It's not to give you a history lesson. I am not a historian per se. I love truth. I love reality. So I do study history, but I encourage you to prove what I'm saying. I encourage you to study it out for yourself so you can really have an understanding of what that looks like. Why am I suggesting that you understand the kingdom and the way that they work, the cultures, the ideas, the philosophies of kingdoms? Why am I suggesting that? Here's the reason why. It's because if you understand the concepts, the philosophies, the culture of the kingdom that you're under the power of, then you can understand what drives them, right? It's a saying that says you keep your friends close and your enemies closer, right? So you understand that if you understand the people, the organizations that have set themselves against you and the way that they maneuver and operate, then you can have a lot more success in being able to move forward in life. So per se, if I'm dealing with the Roman Empire, then I understand I'm dealing with Rome. Understand that those philosophies, those concepts, those motivations have not changed. These are the same philosophies, the same concepts, the same motivations that existed when they had the Caesars that were reigning, right? Same ones. What is the primary motivator for the Roman Empire? What is it? The primary motivator that you find is greed. That's Greed, greed. So the primary motivator that you find in the Roman Empire is greed. And that's the reason why the money system, the debt system that's in place right now is so powerful. Why? Because it's continuously fed, right? Not by just leadership that is driven by greed, but also citizens, also people that are under the rulership of that kingdom are also fed by greed. You are manipulated and motivated by what? Greed. So when you understand, when you're going into a business situation, understand that if it's a person that is, that's under that culture, that mindset, they're raised in a household that is raised under the philosophies and the ideas that stem from the Roman Empire, then the major motivator that you're going to find is what? Greed. Okay, so understand that. Understand when you're dealing with that again. In education, if you're trying to figure out something in the truth or a reality, understand that you're dealing with people who believe that they can change and rewrite history. They believe literally that they can go back in time and decide what they like and don't like and change it. Okay, and it's done and it will continue to be done, and that's okay if you understand the way that things work out. Understand that there are realities, there are truths that are available, but they may not be readily available, and you can almost count on if somebody's giving it to you, pushing it down your throat, if they're trying to force you to accept it, then it's probably either a lie or it's laced with lies. So your job is to prove and test and see, what that looks like, so you understand how you should deal with it. So if you have more questions about kingdoms and you want to have conversations about it, then we can. Again, I'm not the expert. All I want to do is just point you in a direction that you can go in, so that you can have a correct understanding about this world that you live in. And then once you have the correct information, you can decide how to maneuver. Okay, you can decide how you want to maneuver. And the main thing I would say is, in taking this journey, is you have to make a commitment that you're going to love, right? That you're going to operate in a perfect unconditional love. If you don't have that love, then I encourage you to look at another kingdom, right? Look at the kingdom of God. Look at taking on the citizenship of the kingdom of God, because one of the assets that you receive right away is the perfect love of God, so that you can use that to be able to do the things that need to be done, so you can be a benefit to other people and walk in purpose. But it's just a thing where, when you understand the way that these things work, it's like playing a game. And I hate to say that, but it's like a big game that you play, so you understand the rules. Without it, then you don't know the rules. Other people know the rules. They are taking advantage of you, and you are getting hit like a person in the dark, trying to fight in the dark, and you don't know where the punches are coming from. So all I'm trying to do is make sure that the light turns on, and at least you can see your enemy, and then you can devise an offense, if nothing else, have a defense, so that you can actually maneuver. So look forward to helping you retire into purpose. If you haven't visited our website, I encourage you to do that at www.truefinancialengineering.com. Go ahead and click on training area. I'll make sure I have a number of videos that are available there. If you're not earning at least 5% interest on your conservative money, if it's not growing tax deferred, and if you're not able to have access to it for the rest of your life tax free, then I encourage you to text the word storehouse to 67076. Again, that's storehouse to 67076. And I look forward to helping you retire into purpose.